Hey guys, welcome back to another video here of me, Arne Huschenbeth. We are playing the deck that I almost played at the Pro Tour with 1 minute left on the deck submission deadline. I swapped from this, Jeskai Convoke, to Blue-White Control, which, was a very good decision, but at the moment felt pretty crazy, of course. All right. But yeah, I featured the blue-white deck already. Check out the video if you haven't yet. One of the best Pro Tour decks I've ever played in my life. The second best constructed finish I've ever had, with a 9-1 record in constructed. Big thanks to Eli Cassis, of course, for being stubborn at pushing the deck through all the guardrails that we put in front of him, telling him, no, control is not the choice. This is an unknown meta game. How could you? Blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, I even jumped on the bandwagon and to great success. In any case, Jeskai Convoke, why was I very close to playing this deck? Jeskai Convoke, similar to Blue-White Control, was a very underrated deck, I would say. Not many people expected it, nobody had it on their radar. And that's certainly an appealing factor of choosing a Pro Tour deck, is to not be sort of in the aim of, sight, have a bolt's eye or whatever you want to call it, which like Pixie and Gruul and Domain all had. And sort of my third choice in the mix of all the decks that I thought about registering was Gruul aggro, just the rock solid deck. But yeah, I mean, everybody knows how good Gruul is. Everybody was sort of expecting it a lot, and so it never feels great to just register the deck that everybody, knows about already. So here we are, Jeskai Convoke. What made this deck interesting? Historically speaking, or in a public sense, I think the matchup against Gruul is seen as being bad, right? Gruul has the double strikers, the aggression, tramples over some of these small creatures that Convoke can produce, and just win the game that way. But we found a plan that involved using some of the flex slots in the Convoke list. I mean there aren't many. There's a lot of the cards are set in stone, and they are Regal Bunnypawn and Shelter by Ghost, which is sort of a wombo combo. Regal Bunnypawn is just gigantic in this deck. Very quickly, a huge creature already pretty great against Gruul. Even better when equipped with Shelter by Ghost, taking away their Screaming Nemesis, their Emberheart Challenger, whatnot. And yeah, that's just sort of your Splinter Twin to just win the game. And with that, we found that our game 1 win rate was already really increased against Gruul. I remember having a session with Matti where we went Convoke against Gruul, and Convoke won 5-0 in matches. And at that point, I was very high on Convoke because I expected that Gruul was going to be the most popular deck, which it turned out to be. And we were crushing Gruul with this Convoke list, and likely people were not very prepared for Convoke. But then we got to testing the Pixie matchup, especially Pixie with Shrouded Shepherd in the sideboard, and that turned out to be a little bit rough. It felt like maybe slightly behind, depending on the list. It felt definitely very close. The Domain matchup, on the other hand, felt kind of okay for us. Game 1 was a race, kind of hoping that they didn't have like a lot of sweepers, and in postboard you have the Protected Negotiators, which are great at countering the sweepers from their side. But it was also sort of dependent on how many sweepers the Domain list ran in the main deck, in the sideboard. For example, Mad Nas was running 3 Lockdowns and 2 Day of Judgments in the main deck. That's 5 relatively cheap sweepers that are pretty great. Especially Temporary Lockdown is very good in game 1 when there's no Destroy Evil yet. Sure, you can get it with Shelter by Ghosts maybe, but that is a pretty risky Shelter by Ghost that has a Temporary Lockdown under it. Yeah, so that matchup it felt all right. It didn't feel bad, but it was kind of uncertain, like how much hate are gonna people have, because Pest Control and Temporary Lockdown are pretty effective in the format right now. Pest Control being great against Esper Pixie, and we saw Domain lists online picking it up, and Temporary Lockdown being very, very strong against Gruul. So there was some reason to play these cheap sweepers anyways that could sort of splash damage the Jeskai Convoke deck. Yeah, And then there were also some random matchups, like green-white Gearhawk did not feel good. Blue-white Oculus, not a good matchup. The reason why Convoke was a good deck a couple months ago at the Arena Championship that I also participated in, had a really good win rate there, put, I think, a Japanese player into the top 4. They crushed it in the Swiss. I think they went 7-0 or something. And the reason why that was because the black mid-range decks, Demir mid-range, Golgari mid-range, were really good matchups for Convoke. They just went very wide, and then they had a counterspell for the Gix's command later on, and that was it. The Convoke deck is very powerful for its worth. Like, it's a very powerful deck. The nut draw of this deck is pretty incredible, and perhaps the strongest of any deck in Standard, actually. So back then, those existed in high numbers. Now, Demir midrange, Golgari midrange really just fell off. So that was another point against Convoke, that those very good matchups have kind of fallen off. And yeah, so like I felt fine about the deck. I logged it in. I put it into my MTG Melee. I submitted the deck list. And then I was like, hey, I give myself an hour before deck submission to just play this blue-white control deck. If I have like, we used to say during testing, good vibes. If the deck is good vibes, then I'll play it. And yeah, I played some matches against Gruul. Jesse was my opponent for that one, thankfully. And I beat him. I don't know. I don't feel great about this Convoke deck. This blue-white deck makes some sense to me. And of course, there's also a lot of risk involved with registering a blue-white control deck to a fairly new format, right? A fairly uncertain format. Yeah, it turned out to be great. It turned out that we hit the meta game very well, and there weren't many surprises. There was just this Jeskai Oculus deck, and that turned out to be actually also a good matchup for blue-white control, luckily. So yeah, blue-white was definitely the great choice there. But Convoke was pretty solid too. I think our team had like a 56% win rate. For the caliber of play that we have in the team, that's maybe a little bit low. You kind of want aim for like a 60% win rate. In constructed for Team Handshake, higher, of course, desirable. But yeah, certainly not a bad showing either. And depending on how the metagame goes, Convoke deck might be more better positioned. Although, I guess I have to say, it might not be right now, because the blue-white control deck, especially Blast Zone, is pretty strong against Convoke. Yeah, so might not be the best position right now. Only one new card, Nesting Board, in here. The rest is pretty stock. The 61 drops. Case of the Gateway Express, your removal and Anthem effect. A very impressive card in this deck. Resolute Reinforcements, Immodane's Recruiter, Knight Errant of Eos. We also played around with a version of this deck that was just playing red and white, but that just felt too bad into Domain, and the counter spells really made a huge difference. And Spyglass Siren is also a lot better than playing 4 Nesting Board, which is sort of the new way of enabling Lethal Demolition. Spyglass Siren is just so much better, giving you 2 permanents for Warden of the Inner Sky immediately. And yeah, just the Siren is very good in the deck. All right, sideboard real quick. Couple Torture Towers, flexible cheap removal spell. The 4th bunny. 2 copies of Search Observation. That's sort of the package against red. Search Observation, I can proudly say, was my contribution to the archetype, to the deck. We were kind of looking for something that was able to fight off, of course, Lithomantic Barrage on one of your creatures that you equip with a Sheltered by Ghosts, so you can protect the Sheltered by Ghosts. Something against Pyroclasm. Some of the Gruulists online, like half of them were playing Pyroclasm, which is a very, very strong card against you, and this just counters it cleanly. And then also, when they go for like Manifold Mouse, Big Double Striker, Monstrous Rage, and you can just block with, a couple creatures, like, I don't know, put all your 1/1s in front of it, or like your Regal Bunnycorn, then they go Monstrous Rage, and you just go Search Observation. All combat damage prevented. Their creature might just die in combat. Like, for example, if they have a double striker with trample and you put 6 toughness in front of it, and it would deal you 12 damage, or it would deal 12 damage in total. It deals 6 to the creatures that it's blocking, and it deals 6 again to the creatures it's blocking. It's not like Indestructible, where it would trample over. Because the damage is completely prevented, the double strike actually just deals the same amount of damage to the blockers that already got dealt damage that just got prevented. So really effective against sort of the 3 avenues, actually the 4 avenues of attack that Gruul has, because the 4th one is Screaming Nemesis, which can, like, for example, if they go in combat with Screaming Nemesis, you can cast Search Observation pre-combat, then go to blocks, and then they have to target either themselves with the Nemesis trigger, because you and all your permanents have hexproof, or one of their creatures. So really effective also against Nemesis, which is one of the ways they can sort of shut off your Sheltered by Ghost Regal Bunnycorn combo by having you dealt damage with the Nemesis, right? So Search just covered it all, really nice and neat sideboard card. Destroy Evil, 2 copies. They're quite good against Domain. You can have a third one, just good against lockdown decks, obviously. Also, I guess they can come in against something like Oculus. Then the third copy of Sheltered, another concession to the red matchup. Just the 2 searches, the Sheltered by Ghost and the Regal Bunnycorn, really were all for the red matchup. A copy of Split Up. This was intentionally for the Pixie matchup. Some people played a Rest in Peace in that slot. Simon decided to scratch the Rest in Peace, just play the Split Up. Yeah, it's good in creature matchups, essentially, like Green, White, Gearhawk, Pixie, whatnot. If you're in a racing situation, they have a bunch of tapped creatures, you just untap and you just blow them all up. And then 2 copies of Wildleaf Leech, another concession to the Pixie matchup. This is one you can actually hardcast in this deck too. It pumps your soldier tokens, pumps various tokens, and of course, if they ever go Hopeless Nightmare turn 1, you throw this out. You kind of win the game. All right, well, that is Jeskai Convoke. For you guys, the deck that half of Team Handshake, led by Simon and Carl, played in the Pro Tour Aether Drift, and that I almost played. So yeah, tune in for the rest. I'd love to play first. Yeah, and that was another part that I didn't mention in the introduction. The mulliganing with the deck is pretty rough. You have to mulligan pretty aggressively sometimes, and there's a lot of like weird looking hands like this one. And that was certainly something that at least put some of the I remember Charles Wong and Jesse Hampton were like completely off this deck, because they were part of one of the mulligan discussions during testing, and there were 7 hands in a row that were mulligans with Convoke. 7 hands in a row, imagine that. It's pretty brutal. I wouldn't say it's that bad, like, but they were like, wow, okay, I can't do this. Yeah, and this hand is one of these interesting ones that, you know, that we had like a little channel in our Discord under the Convoke channel where we would discuss everything about Convoke, that would be called Mulligan Convoke, where we would just post all these hands where we were like, is this actually keepable? Oh man. Obviously the perfect hand is Gleeful plus an artifact, Knight Errant. That's like the nuts, 2 lands. This hand is on the play. I go like Resolute. I have 4 lands. I feel like because I have 4 lands and a Gleeful is not active, I think it's a little bit too bad of a hand. Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a keep on a 6. I have a great start. I just need sort of the payoff. I guess I just go Spyglass Siren, yeah. And the payoff, you do have some payoff. Look, you have the 4 Recruiter, you have the 4 Knight Errant. Knight Errant, the best card in the deck. If I draw it here, my win percentage is going to go up to like 90% or something. Yeah. And then you also have the Warden, which is in a way also a way of digging towards something and building a big creature with all these tokens, right? So you have like 12 really obvious payoffs for making tokens. And the case and Bunnycorn are also sort of payoffs. I mean, I can use the case here and just win the game with the case likely. Get rid of a blocker, have a 10 power in play after the attack. Everything gets, you know, double my power. And that's gonna probably win me this game here on the play. So yeah, you do have Bunnycorn, maybe not the best payoff in this matchup. Against Gruul, it would be, what would it be now? A 7/7 on turn 3? That's pretty surreal, right? So that would be great. But yeah, against Pixie, a Bunnycorn is not that good. So yeah, there's various payoffs, but of course you have to have everything balanced. You have to have, you know, the Gleeful and the artifact. You have to have the payoff. You have to have the lands. So there's a lot of pieces that have to be working together. And when you play a deck like Domain or Blue-White Control, you can just jam. No blocks. I think my opponent roped out. I'm just gonna go ahead. and use my opportunity here. If you can get the case online, you should get it online. Especially without you having to sacrifice a creature doing attacks. Like this game. They go to 14 and is facing down 10 power. Yeah, my opponent's roping out, unfortunately. Okay. Maybe my opponent will just bounce my case here. Okay. Yeah, that's certainly not a way to win here. And what is somewhat nice about Convoke is that, at least against the decks that are not running the white sweeper effects, it will have a pretty good game one, I would say, on average. They can bounce the case, then it still takes 6 damage. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean we had power, we had 1 case, opponent didn't really do much. Good stuff. Alright. Let me take a quick look over the sideboard guide. Sheltered goes out and Case goes out on the draw. Bunny stays in, interestingly enough. Because that's a point of contention. Split Up comes in, Wild Leaf Leech, and it torches. Yeah, that's the swaps. I guess the Bunny and the Case is maybe a play draw thing. Yeah, sort of. It's interesting that Bunny is good here. I mean, Bunny is the one card that's kind of susceptible to Dystoning big enough. But yeah, Case is a little harder to get going when you're on the draw and you're playing against like sweeper effects. They can wipe your board and all of that. That was a little bit of point of contention during testing that I didn't really agree with some of the Convoke players on. The way and how often we boarded, like they wanted to board out the Case, and I was like very impressed with the Case, generally speaking. But I also didn't play as much Convoke as some of the others, to be fair. I think this hand is fine enough. We are missing a color, but we have a pretty decent curve. We're on the draw, so Split Up should be better. We do not have the Wild Leaf Leech. But yeah, I mean, you also have to take into account that if you're playing against Pixie, they have Hopeless Nightmare, so mulliganing can punish you. If you go lower on cards, the harder the Hopeless Nightmare hits you. So, you know, we have an off-color card in our hand. We can just discard that to Hopeless Nightmare if we want to. We can also discard the Darker Ways. That's pretty reasonable, I would say. And, you know, I mean, these days, as a Pixie player, you also have to be very aware of all the, like, I feel like almost every deck is playing the discard punishment effects, Wild Leaf Leech or Obstinate Bailiff, so you have to be very careful of doing it on turn 1. So that's the most punishing. I hope my opponent's gonna play a little bit faster. This looks like a nowhere to run. And yeah, I mean, another side effect of Convoke is that the interaction, at least out of Pixie, isn't that great against it. Like, no way to run a Dystoning big enough are not very effective against this deck. There's the Nightmare. This game is developing weirdly. I think I'm just going to discard a Split Up. Seems like they adapted a very controlling role here. Yeah. And it could even come down to me making some Night tokens with the Recruiter down the line, I think. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll take this. I'll take it. Anything I can get. So here, Pest Control would blow up 4 permanents. I do have to be a little aware of that. Shepherd would kill all of these, which also wouldn't be great. Nightmare. Okay. Interesting. All right, I'll go with the Warden. And I'll start by scrying. 1, 2, 3. Red mana. I'm gonna keep that. And then I'm going to attack for 6 or attack for 4 and scry again. I guess I'll attack for 4 and scry again. Pump my guy. Doing this a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Oh, that's interesting, actually. I mean, making 2 knights is kind of appealing. I don't really need the torch here. Sure, I'll make 2 knights. I'll play a little bit of a grindy game. I guess that does walk a little bit into pest control, though. I could have done some more math. Like if I go... Well, what I can also do next turn... Well, they just concede. I could have just killed the blocker and then Immodane's Recruiter, and that would be 7, 9, 14, 18 damage. So that would have also been a line that I have available with the Shivan Reef there. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy how I played that game. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable enough. I have my best card. I have a 1-drop, a 2-drop. It's a little bit annoying that I don't have a fast land. Like, I remember there were also discussions in the team that against some decks, keeping, like against Gruul or even against Pixie, keeping a hand with just pain lands is another, you know, have to be evaluated in a different way than hands that have fast lands, because the damage is very, very relevant. That was a good draw. Although I guess it would have been better if it would have been a white fast land. I'll take it though. We're playing against Golgari with elves. Pretty fast start. Gix's Command obviously on my radar. But yeah, I have 2 Knight Errants, which is one of the strongest cards in the matchup. And I'm probably just gonna really go crazy. Like go Resolute, then Knight Errant, something like that. They could mess with me though. They could just have a removals. Whoa. Oh wow. Alright, let's play this and see what they do. Maybe they play a removal spell already. They might just play Mosswood. I mean, I kind of don't want to lose creatures, to be honest, because it will slow me down an entire turn. But taking the 2 for 1 here? Huh. It will slow me down an entire turn. I can't resist. I can't resist, guys. I can't resist. Can't resist the 2 for 1. Oh, man. All right. Well, I certainly would not have blocked if I didn't have a second Resolute, right? Interesting spot. I don't know. What would have Simon done? What would have Simon done? I could actually double block that too, huh? If there's been some mana on the Mosswood, I wouldn't be too unhappy. Wow. Really slow development from them. Okay, more elves. Interesting, interesting. You want to do it for 5 so you can chain, you can find Knight Errant with a Knight Errant, which is pretty good. All right, we're kind of missing the payoff right now. We're missing, well, we do have the Knight Errant, which is one way of payoff, but we're missing the damage output. I'll just pass. We do have the value though. Like at this point, I think I'm able to outvalue my opponent, but I do have to be careful about not losing the race. So I'm certainly behind in the race right now, and I don't really have good attacking forces. This makes me think they don't have Gix's Command. If they had Gix's Command, they would have casted there, blown up my entire board. That's good news. They do have 2 free power creatures, which are a little bit annoying. Do I want to draw a card and find something like a case, or do I just want to play more creatures to the board? They don't have a sweeper right now. I'll just play more creatures. Down to 8, something like a shield rid could be a little bit annoying. The trample from these guys, like if I block the Knight Errant, they could blow up the Knight Errant, post block, and deal me more damage. But I also have conveniently, I think I'm just gonna deploy one of these. Trying to think. Yeah. Just I will just have these 5, and then I have some decent toughness blockers, which are kind of nice against these 3/2s over there. Okay. Yeah, I'm not playing around a sweeper. They don't have one. Or at least I could not play these 2 guys, I guess. Yeah, I'm certainly gonna tap these clues, scry a little bit. Maybe they have a cut down. I go for the front, okay. I'm gonna keep that. So I could play a Warden and then tap an Inspector, another Inspector, and this. I could just play everything and then, yeah, I guess I go to 6 life though. Do I have a Sheltered coming? Yeah, I'm just gonna go all in here. Tap, tap, tap. Yep. Now I could tap the free Novice and make another 4 toughness creature. What's the worst outcome? I would have 2 4 toughness creatures. They kill one of them, I block, I take 4. And then they play a shield rid, I die. No, they don't have enough mana to do all that. What's the worst outcome? They have 2 removal, I die, I guess. They just have 2 removal spells. Alright. If I pump this up to free power, I play around Gix's command. A little bit more. This way I die to Gix's command. They don't have it though, they would need to draw it. It's like 46 cards, 2 of them are Gix's command. Pretty low odds. If I tap these, I'm gonna die to 2 removal spells. They played in a way where, you know, they could have another like removal. They used to go for the throw. It's like both is pretty unlikely. I mean, they would need like an annoyance. Yeah, they give up. Yeah, this is the small edges, but you know, I was just trying to make sure if I can play around it a little bit. All right. Take a quick look at the sideboard guide again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is something I could have I could have figured out myself. The bunny is not great against go for the throat decks, and Sheltered not good either. Protect is good, and I think Destroy Evil. Only 3 protect and 2 destroy evil. Split up is reasonable too, I think. Like you can make an argument for split up, protect number 4, but this seems pretty reasonable too. Against these black mid-range decks, the cases are very nice. The cases, yeah, I mean, the case, very good there. Blow up a creature and give you value down the line with the Anthem effect. And by the way, I put on some sound. Let me know if it's good that you guys. I mean, you're hearing some sound, right? I think you do. This sound seems reasonable. You don't? Interesting. Oh, I turned off the sound. My bad. Oh my bad. I had it on mute. Okay. I was wondering why, but I just had it on mute. Okay. I must have accidentally clicked mute on the sound thingy, and I didn't see that. It's pretty invisible. Like it's not like red or something. It's like a small button where I just muted my speakers on Streamlabs. Oh well. Great hand. Both looking good. Nothing to complain about here. If I don't block, I have the Knight Errant next turn. Man. They're not learning from it. I mean, or they just want me to. They just want me to. I don't know what's going on there. I guess we're in Platinum late in the season. These are not necessarily the best players on the world. They can go Gix's Command next turn, but it is how it is. I can destroy Evil the Sentinel. They also lose their Llanowar Elves, and I'm gonna hopefully replace my Knight Errant at least with 2 cards here of greatness. Yeah, they don't have a sweeper. They just are super dead, I would say. Looks like they want to crack the map already. Perfect. They could have -2/-2 for everything, but that would be survivable. Tear Asunder, not necessarily the best sideboard card against Convoke. And yeah, now I want to be a little bit more resourceful. Oh, a Debris Beetle. It's a lot of... Actually, I'll take that back. Maybe I don't want to be that more... Oh, like a lot more resourceful. I might have to play to the board more aggressively now. Interesting. Okay. Well, they had an untapped land. If they had a Gix's Command, they would have cast it, I would presume. Blowing up my entire board, making this... it doesn't even grow, but like blowing up my entire board would have been pretty good. So I'm not necessarily playing around that. I think also if they had a -2/-2 effect, they would have cast it. Like a Harvest of Misery would have been cast. Choking Miasma. So they don't have that. If I play Novice and then just pump out another Knight, I guess I can just pump out another Knight before playing anything else. They don't really have good attacks anyways. Like if I destroy Evil Disc, they can just crew and then I can deal some damage, but I'm certainly behind in the race here. Just kind of have to play the value game again. Okay, we'll definitely taking that. And then also the Warden. Yeah. Chip, chip, chip. Warden is really good in this deck. Siren. Siren is maybe a little low impact at this point. Now I could tap 3 to scry again. Then I have a 4/4. They play a creature that could crew this, which is not too difficult. But I can map onto the elf. They can attack me for like 10, and I have 1 4/4 blocker that doesn't have a good block. I think I'm just gonna not activate my Warden. Just gonna chill with it. Like I'm gonna impose a double block, maybe, or a triple block even, on like one of the 2 creatures, and then I have Destroy Evil for the other, and then I have Immodane's Recruiter to crunch in for 1,000,000 damage, approximately. It's actually, these are 12, 15. Just a concession. Can be that easy, I guess, with Convoke. Should have played this deck at the PT instead. The grind is real though, Platinum tier 3. The Golgari Beans deck put me back to Plat 4, what can I say? Alright, nice. Play first. Yeah, this is good enough. It's not perfect, but I have 4 1/1s on turn 2. Hopefully followed up by a Recruiter. Oh, Leyline. Eee. This matchup I don't think is that good. The Leyline gives the Gruul deck, the red deck, a little bit too much explosiveness. Although, maybe Search Observation can do some tricky things. Target, so like you can search, counter this, theoretically. I could just blow this up with the case. It's interesting. I might just do that, actually. What else am I doing? Gleeful, and then they go nuts? I guess they're gonna kill my Siren. I should have attacked first. Oops. I missed the damage there. Interesting play. Yeah, I missed the damage for sure. I forgot about them killing my guy that way. Nah, they just have more guys. This didn't pan out well. Like, they could have had a hand where they don't have many more guys. I was kind of hoping for that. You want to do this right now, so in case I draw a fast land, I can play it here. These are the edges, guys. These are the edges. I mean, yeah, it's these are the tiny edges you can gain by thinking. Wow, he thought about it. He thought about his play. I mean, but seriously, like, a lot of players are just like, well, Battlefield Forge, Cleave my guy, play my Siren map or something, do it in the wrong order, and yeah. In any case, I'm celebrating, but I'm still super dead, probably. Yeah. Great. Yeah. How do I win this game? I have to hope they don't have rage. They're just gonna pump these two. Well, they have to pump this now. If they don't have rage, they have to pump this, which then that doesn't deal me trample, which is nice. I don't think I can win this game if they have rage. I think I'm just gonna check out of this game as if they don't have rage. I'm gonna play like that. I can play as if they have like the 3+0 thing. Or Might of the Meek. Might of the Meek's, I guess, also really good here. Yeah, I'll just block like this. I don't want to lose too much material either, but I also don't want to block at all. Oh, they have the card I can't beat. I think I'm going to lose this game. So now I have to draw like Sheltered. I take 12, go to 6. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm not technically dead. Alright, I'll play as if they don't have anything. And then I have to draw... Like, they have 2 lands in hand. And then I have to draw... I'm actually living. And then I have to draw Sheltered. That 14. If I wouldn't have cracked my map, well, I can't cast 2 red spells in one turn, I guess. A block here, they take 6, 9, 13 damage, guys. Oh my god. If I would have drawn a 1-drop here, a white 1-drop, I would have won the game. Oh man, brutal. They jump here, they take 9, 13. Yeah, I'm Dobbs, I guess. We'll do the celebrators. We'll show him how close it was. Their attack with the Swift Spear was also just what the heck? You just suicided your creature for no reason. Like they could have, like if they kept the Swift Spear back there, I would not have been able to win even with a top deck 1-drop. Okay. Well, I don't think this is in the sideboard guide. Here, on the play, kind of like everything, I guess. I do like Sheltered, I do like Torch, I do like Bunny, I do like Search. Let's see what we're doing on the play. This matchup. I think Simon is gonna put out an article, by the way, somewhat soon, I believe, on like Convoke and all. So you're gonna have all the insights yourself. But I don't want to put it out there and like share his work with all of you. It's like I was part of the team, and I just want to. So yeah, I'm using the sideboard guide. I'm not going to put it public. I hope you understand that. On the rule on the play, just take out the recruiters is the deal here, huh? Yeah, they don't even sight in the torches on the play, which in this matchup I think you should. So the recruiter's out. Which is interesting, I guess, because like the matchup seems pretty racy. But I guess Bunnycorn can race pretty well as well. So which is interesting. Prevent all damage black and red, so you would deal to creatures you control this turn. I'm gonna try it. I don't know though. It's tough. What do you cut? Maybe I have to cut a case. It's a little bit of a slower mid-rangey card, I guess. Maybe I have to cut Surge. Just play one Surge on the play. Not a matchup we tested much. Not a matchup we expected much. Mulligan. Good enough. This is just a Shivan Reef to the bottom here. Alright. Pun's good at the game. 2 ley lines turn 1. Like one each game. So I have a little bit of a choice to make here. Do I want to play my bunny first or do I want to play my Resolute first? I think it's the bunny, right? I mean, they could have Lithomantic Barrage. It's a little bit the issue here. If I go Resolute first, I have 4 permanents. Then I go bunny, I have 5. They can still barrage my bunny. I think I should just go bunny. I can decide next turn if I want to shelter it or not. Pyroclasm would destroy me. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Okay. I'll just play it slow. No attacks. I know I theoretically have a 5/5, but I don't want to get into a situation where they go like scam, block, and then pump or something. Okay. Maybe I should have been more aggressive. The shelter, just exile the ley line. Attack with the bunny, something like that. And they can just block with Scamp though and pump it, so I don't really have a good attack. Just gonna kill my bunny. They'll get face. Very happy they go face. Very, very happy they go face. I might have messed up. Maybe I should have put the Resolute into play, because now my guy is shockable. I'm playing around the shock. Okay. I think I should take out the ley line. If I attack, I have a 6/5, but they can just pump their guy. The way I played it, playing around the shock, slowed me down big time. I could have had 2 more power here. This would have been an 8/7. They could still double block and pump. Interesting game. Had some interesting decision points. Monstrous Rage. No attack at all. Wow. Okay. Interesting. At this point I should be able to crunch, right? Can also draw a card first. No. Then my guy is smaller. What am I doing? So I have a 10/9. They seem to have something. I'm like a little confused. Maybe there's Snakeskin Veil? Maybe there's Snakeskin Veil, huh? That's why they couldn't attack effectively. I mean, they could have attacked theoretically. I mean, I had a 4-3 when they were in their turn. This guy was a 4-3. I'm sure they could have had maybe the Resolute in mind, but interesting. 10-9. I mean, what's going to happen here? Like, they have an Inside Out. They still have to put this. These two are not even enough. So they have to put 3 creatures in front and a pump spell. I think that's a fine trade to make. Cool. Maybe Destroy Evil should be in a deck. I guess post-board I'll play Destroy Evil. Not sure about the Surge, huh? Surge is kind of nice against Scamp. Surge has to be kind of decent now. Tricky matchup. Yeah, I mean, maybe some of you guys are going to be like screaming at your screen right now. Not screaming, but thinking to yourself. Why are you not bringing the 2 Destroy Evil? They're so good against the most important card in the deck. Yeah, I mean, they might also just not have the Leyline turn 0, and then Destroy Evil is pretty iffy. That's sort of my thinking there. Not the greatest hand of all time. My opponent just has a Leyline on 7 again. Every single game, huh? Did they mulligan to 6 in game 1? Pretty unreal. Pretty unreal. Land light hand. So that means 4 spells likely. Plotting the guy. Okay. Okay. I don't have a payoff, unfortunately. And just dorky creatures on the into play here. I guess I'll destroy the map. Clue is a little stronger than map. I mean, I guess. The Leyline, I mean, the Leyline is just stupid. Every game, turn 1. I mean, this matchup's already bad, and they had just the nuts every game, sort of. A little unfortunate. Yeah. Oh, they don't even attack the Scamp. Okay, I'll 1 block. Oh, wow, they don't have a trick. Huh. Okay, maybe they don't have the nuts. Just a bunch of creatures. I can live with that. But I don't have any payoffs. I have a double block on the Slick Shot. I could map on my guy, but that would be a little mana inefficient. Maybe I should have mapped and cracked the clue there. Just dig as much as I can towards a sheltered. Or, yeah, I mean, Bunny isn't even that good here. They can just fly over. Nah, no attacks! Okay. I'm just gonna crack clue. Like, it's more important to find something than... Alright, there we go. There we go. Tap these 2. Okay, so that can find me a big bunny. Recruiter is sided out, so this does actually a little weaker now. Oh, Knight Errant is kind of good. Just get Knight Errant and Warden. Go Warden. I could technically cast another one of these. go crazy. But then I would tap pretty low. My opponent doesn't have anything in hand. They don't seem to have any tricks. This guy's going to be huge next turn. If they have a Monstrous Rage that translates to 3, 6, 12. Nothing. Okay. Let's start with some scrying. Another one of you guys. I don't think so. I just need sheltered at this point. Sheltered is all I want. I don't have Recruiter in my deck. Maybe, like, for these situations, obviously having Recruiter would be kind of nice, because you just kill your opponent. It's a little awkward. It's the best card in my deck in a way, but it doesn't really find me what I'm missing. It just builds more board, which is okay, but not amazing. I think I don't need it at this point. Scry like this. And then the question is what my attack's gonna be. Am I just gonna attack with these guys? Probably. I have 15 life to work with and have more blockers coming. I think with like my toughness here, I'm gonna be okay. Maybe I should have stayed back with one of these Knight Errants. But like this is gonna make it pretty. It's gonna assure me a win next turn, right? If they have Rage, this is gonna go up to 6 power plus 6, so 12. And I'm at 15. You just take it all. I can put this in front of these slick shots. The Scamp. I guess the Scamp could become dangerous. What do I do against the Scamp? Okay, I just win. I didn't really make the math there. Like, if I would have played a Pro Tour, like it's really important when I would have really tried to math out how much damage they can deal me with these. Like, I could have gone rage on these two friends, or like on one of them. So for example, if I put Warden in front of one, then I put 2 in front of this and 1 in front of the Slick Shot or something, or like 2 more in front of this. Then they can Monstrous Rage the big one, the one that has like less toughness on it, right? Which would lead to a 6 power guy. That 6 power guy would trample over for a few, like maybe 3 damage, put me to like 11, because I would pay 1 for the Battlefield Forge here as well. So I would go to 11, and then it would die as 6 power and put me down to 5, and the other guy would put me down to 1. They could also put 2 of these. Like if I put enough toughness, if I put like 3 toughness, and then only if they pump both of them with rage and then both die, that's 8 damage from the triggers, 4 and 4, and then like a little bit of trample. So, and these guys trigger, I guess. So I would have to chump both of these, and I would have to put 4 toughness in front of this and 1 toughness in front of that, and I guess that guy also comes through. So I would have to put 1/1 there, so it tramples over for 1 damage. I think I'm fine. Yeah, if they trample this here, it's 6. It's 3 plus 6, so it's 5 trample damage. And then they pump one of these. It's another, do up to 6 trample damage, and then this dies to 4. Like any combination of Monstrous Rage really doesn't kill me. Even in this constellation. So I think this attack was pretty safe. I just had too much life to work with. And yeah, their deck just fails. They were obviously they're sort of like an A plus B plus C deck as well. They need the ley line at best. They need creatures. They need lands, and then they also need pump. And they just drew lands, creatures, and ley line. They didn't draw the crucial last part of their puzzle. Yeah. Well, in any case, that was a pretty decent showing of Convoke. You know, pretty good hands, I would say. I didn't mulligan to 5 any time. I had pretty good draws. Yeah, I was able to showcase the deck a little bit for you guys, for you aggro fans out there. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to pump out more content in the near future. There's a lot of sweet decks from the Pro Tour and other decks that we tried for the Pro Tour that didn't quite make it in the end, that I can showcase to you guys if you're interested. And yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I hope to see you soon, guys. Take care.